Week 11 is in the books. Week 12 is upon us. These are my SEC power rankings entering Week 12 of the 2024 college football season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. This segment brought to you by our friends over at RHOBACK. Go to RHOBACK.com. Use promo code SECU for 20% off your first purchase. That's RHOBACK.com, promo code SECU to get 20% off today. Week 11 of the 2024 college football season is officially in the books. And as we turn our attention to Week 12, it's that time of week yet again. My SEC power rankings are officially unveiled. And without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up each of my selections. We will start at number 16. The Oklahoma Sooners, welcome back to the cellar. Guys, there wasn't a team this previous weekend that disappointed me more than Oklahoma. I mean, think about this for a second. I know you've been scuffling. I understand it's been a rough year. But you go into a game that I call one of the most underrated bad blood games of the 2024 season. You go into Columbia, Missouri to take on a Missouri team without their starting quarterback in Brady Cook. You had everything going for you. And somehow, some way, at the end of the game, you find a way to blow it. I don't know if I can ever forgive Oklahoma for that. Not the people or the fans or anything like that, but this 2024 team, you are officially on my shit list. As somebody who took Oklahoma from the gambling perspective, picked Oklahoma, inexcusable to lose to this Missouri team, all due respect, without Brady Cook at quarterback. For that reason, Oklahoma, you're at the 16 spot. Congratulations. You played yourself, and you're exactly where you deserve to be. At number 15, I've got the Kentucky Wildcats. Guys, the most interesting thing that's happened for Kentucky over the last few days, Mark Stoops came out, said there is 0% chance, that he is going to be stepping down at season's end. There have been some speculation. Maybe he retires. Maybe he sails off into the sunset. My question now becomes, is Kentucky going to be forced to fire Mark Stoops? Because where is the Stoops era really going? Number 14, guys, I've got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. State coming in again at number 14. Some big games upcoming for State. Obviously, a really important stretch. But State right now, Jeff Lebby and company, just really, guys, trying to cover spreads and get to the end of the season. So Mississippi State in that 14 spot. At number 13, I've got the Florida Gators. Got blasted in Austin against Texas. And I mean, guys, when you had no DJ Lagway, the second it was announced no DJ Lagway, and Aiden Warner was announced as your starting quarterback, I knew at that point, I was like, Florida plus 21.5 was the worst bet I possibly could have made. That was my fault. That was my B. I'll hold the L on that one. Give Texas a lot of credit. We'll get to them in a bit. But, you know, for Florida, again, you got a big opportunity this weekend. LSU comes to town. There's still opportunities down the stretch. Florida State's a complete mess. You can get them. But now you've got this two-game stretch. LSU, Ole Miss, you got to clip one to get the bowl eligibility and then, of course, beat Florida State. But you got to pull one of these upsets. Can you do it? LSU coming in. How are they feeling? What are they playing for? Who knows? Could be a big opportunity for an upset. Guys, at number 12, I moved Auburn up to 12, believe it or not. Here's why I did that. Auburn coming off of the bye week. I know Auburn's not a good team. They got to run the table the rest of the way to get the 6 wins. They're going to win this weekend. They play Louisiana Monroe. No General Booty available. So there's no question. Auburn is a 24-point favorite at Jordan-Hare Stadium, is going to win the football game. And I understand Auburn's not a good football team. I get that. But I look at all the teams behind them, guys, and the factor of what they've got going on. Guys, Auburn at this point, like, they're the best of the collection of bad teams in the SEC. Just look at the numbers, right? Just look at the numbers. Now, we did find out something interesting. Peyton Thorne did not practice last week. What does Auburn do at the quarterback position this week? We shall see. Just give the freaking ball to Jarquez Hunter, though, man. This weekend, the rest of the way out, stop overcomplicating it. Just give the football to Jarquez Hunter. Auburn, the best of the bad teams in the SEC. That's why they're at number 12 for me. Number 11, the Vanderbilt Commodores. They suffered a really tough loss at the hands of South Carolina this weekend. Got out physical, got bullied. They got a much-needed bye week, I think, upcoming this weekend. Still like Vandy, still like Diego Pavia, but, I don't want to say they got exposed, but I think what's happened, guys, over these last few weeks, the more and more and more film that has gotten out there about Tim Beck's offense, I think teams have started to catch up with the things Vanderbilt is doing offensively. I think they've started to catch up with Diego Pavia. And again, I still love his game. Love the fact he's suing the NCAA. That is a boss move. That is a baller move. I hope he's back in the SEC next year. But right now, Vandy at 11, can you pull one more big upset? Or are you going to sit at 6-6, which still is a great year, but some more opportunities down the stretch. Much needed bye week upcoming, though. Number 10. I've got the Arkansas Razorbacks. They also come off of their bye week. They take on Texas this weekend. Do Arkansas fans hate Texas more than they like Arkansas? I don't know about that, but what I do know is they're number 10 in our power rankings. Going to be a fun one this weekend in favor. We'll see. I mean, listen, Arkansas they've had 2 weeks to prepare. They've been consistently inconsistent. But is this where we really see the Travis Williams, defensive coordinator, the T-will fade down the stretch? What am I talking about? His defenses have not played well down the stretch. You look at past seasons, they typically have gotten worse. Is that because of attrition, depth concerns? I don't know, but it's just something, it's a trend to follow. And now you got the Texas offense coming into town, who just dropped, almost 50 or 50 on the head of Florida, almost 50 on the head of Florida. They're humming. Quinn Ewers is feeling good. Going to be a tall test. But again, Bobby Petrino and company, 2 weeks to get ready on the home field. Rivalry game. Never know what could happen for the Hogs. And number 9, I've got the Missouri Tigers. I will say this. I think Mizzou's probably the worst 7-2 team in the country. I don't care, Mizzou fans, if you want to come at me for that. I got nothing against you. I just think when you look at Mizzou, they're probably the worst 7-2 team in the country. With that being said, give Missouri a ton of credit. As much as I poo-pooed on Oklahoma, give Mizzou a ton of credit for just the grittiness and the toughness and the resiliency to find a way to win that football game. To find a way. Guys, when you don't have your starting quarterback, when you don't have your key players, just find a way. Survive in advance. Survive in advance. That's what it comes down to now. Listen, Eli Drinkwitz said after the game, Mizzou, we're staying alive for the college football playoff race. I said it. I don't know if I agree with him necessarily, but I guess technically at 7-2, technically they're still alive. I think they still have a percentage chance to make the playoff. Will those dreams end this weekend in the other Columbia, South Carolina? Very intriguing game. The battle for the Mayor's Cup. Mizzou has won 5 straight. That winning streak could be coming to an end, though, in Williams-Brice Stadium. And again, right now at number 9, I've got Mizzou. Real key to see what is Brady Cook's health going in that game this weekend also. Number 8, guys, I've got the LSU Tigers. Really disappointing showing by LSU, man. There's just really no other way to sugarcoat it. I mean, listen, I went on record. I said some things about Alabama. I've eaten crow since. And Alabama fans, I apologize to you because I was dead wrong. I said Bama wasn't man enough to go into Death Valley at night. Kalen DeBoer's Alabama wasn't to go into Death Valley at night and beat LSU. It was LSU that wasn't man enough, it seems. LSU was not man enough in the trenches. LSU got bullied. I mean, you surrendered 300 rushing yards. Jalen Milroe owns you. And now you were officially out of the college football playoff race. I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound or anything. Now, I will say this. What's insane, I say all that, what's insane, there is a path that LSU can still get to the SEC championship. If this happens and that happens and some madness and LSU's got to win out, they could still get to the SEC title game as 9-3. And if they won the SEC title game, guys, they'd automatically be in, which that'd be the most 2024 college football season thing of all to happen. But either way, man, just if you told me Bama won, I wouldn't have been shocked. For Bama to win the way they did, wow. There's a lot of pissed off Cajuns here early in this week. And I don't blame you. And I don't blame you. Just inexcusable performance. Garrett Nussmeier is what he is at this point, just a turnover machine. You say whatever you want. He's a turnover machine. You can't win that way in the SEC. I know the defense didn't play well, but when your offense is continually turning the football over, and it's like giving a good team in baseball more than 3 outs. When you give a good team in baseball 4 or 5 outs or 6 outs in an inning, they are going to punish you. Guys, I know the defense and what Jalen Milroe did in the running game, but you may have still lost, but at least if you don't turn the football over like that, Garrett Nussmeier, you may have a chance. It's not going to be nearly as ugly as it was. It was ugly offensively. And it was ugly because the turnovers. But when you're turning the ball over, you have no chance. You have no chance against a good team, and that's just the reality of it. So LSU, you got to go out and get defensive personnel, whether it's portal or recruiting, and you got to go get a quarterback that doesn't turn the football over. Bottom line. And number 7, I've got the Texas A&M Aggies. Guys, coming off the bye week, they did not move for us. They've got New Mexico State this weekend. There's no Diego Pavia on that New Mexico State team, so rest easy, Aggies. I don't think there's going to be any sort of miracle upset or anything. I think A&M is favored by 39.5 points the last time I checked. But for A&M, man, I mean, listen, you've got that one. You've got Auburn. And then you got the game against the Texas Longhorns. Don't sleep on the Auburn game, but it does feel like A&M, both A&M and Texas, we're being honest, it's all about kind of building momentum to that rivalry showdown that's going to have so much on the line in College Station. And number 6, guys, I've got the Georgia Bulldogs. Was at this game in person in Oxford, obviously. Guys, I'll tell you this. I have not seen a Georgia team get whipped like that in a very long time. I mean, Carson Beck, for as much crap as we give Carson Beck, and I think he's a bit lost right now, but he didn't have a chance, guys. He didn't have a chance in that second half. Guy was under duress all day long. They can't run the football consistently. They can't use the quick game. I mean, I haven't seen Georgia blown up like that on the perimeter in a really, really long time. So, listen, it's it's do or die time for the Dogs. I mean, we're heading to Athens this weekend for the SEC Unfiltered Tour to watch Georgia, Tennessee. This is it for Georgia, right? Your season's on the line. Hopes of a college football playoff appearance, having the chance to even get in, they're on the line because you're not getting in with 3 losses. So, how does Georgia respond? That is going to be the big question. I'm really, really curious of how Kirby Smart's team responds here. At home, at night, Tennessee coming to town. Tennessee's ranked higher in the polls. I know Georgia's the favorite, but Georgia got punched in the face. I mean, bottom line, they got punched in the face. How does Kirby Smart's team respond? My big question. Number 5, I got the Alabama Crimson Tide, guys. Put respect on Alabama. Had them too low last week. I questioned their manhood. I even had Tyler Booker, Alabama offensive lineman, call me out on social media, which was all in good fun, by the way. We DM back and forth. And listen, you make a prediction like I did, you get it as wrong as I did, you got to eat crow, man, if you can. I don't have too much pride. I got that thing miserably wrong. That was one of the biggest swings and misses of my career. But Alabama proved something. They showed something. Alabama's still here, man. They're still fighting for the playoff. They're still a force to be reckoned with. And something happened over the bye week. It's just bottom line. And Alabama just owns LSU in Baton Rouge. I mean, that's the only thing. They own them in Baton Rouge. That's it. Playing at Death Valley's not. It's a big deal for everyone but Alabama. So Jalen and I'll tell you this: the thing I want to see from Bama, continue to let Jalen Milroe use his legs. Continue to run the football with Jalen Milroe. The defense made great strides in that football game. Kane Womack called a great game, I thought. So Alabama, still a force to be reckoned with. They are still here. Great win for Kalen DeBoer and company, and they're number 5 in my rankings. Number 4, guys, I vaulted South Carolina to the 4 spot. They are in the top 4. Guys, there may not be a hotter team in college football right now than the South Carolina Gamecocks. Going into Vanderbilt, listen, I know some will say it's Vanderbilt. That's a ranked win on the road, guys. And Vandy was a team, a lot of momentum, Diego Pavia, all this. I felt really, really good about the fact that South Carolina's front 7 was going to give the Doors a lot of problems, and they did. It played out about how I expected. But, guys, when you look at what South Carolina's doing and how they're doing it, I mean, we started to put respect on them a few weeks ago. We put more respect on them last week. I mean, guys, at this point, you've really got to put a ton of respect on South Carolina, what Shane Beamer has built, what they're doing on the defensive side. And I mentioned this, guys, in my recap of the weekend. The thing that's changed the most, in my opinion, the identity of that program in regards to physicality. Travian Robertson, the defensive line coach, Sean Elliott on the offensive side, who I know is coaching tight ends, but is probably secretly also coaching O-line. Those 2 guys, and then Luke Day, the strength and conditioning coach, the mentality and the overall identity, it seems, has changed. They're just a more physical football team. South Carolina's never lacked playmakers, skill position guys. They've lacked physicality since Steve Spurrier left. Let's just call it for what it is. They have. they finally have gotten that back. I mean, you got a guy in Kyle Kennard probably going to break Jadeveon Clowney's single-season sack record, which if you'd have told me that, I'd have said no freaking way. No shot. No chance. They are, especially in that Vandy game, impose their will. Lenoris Sellers is getting more comfortable, it seems. He's getting better, more efficient. Big one this weekend against the Missouri Tigers. Listen, I don't think any Gamecock fan will take that one lightly because what Mizzou has done to you the last 5 years, but a perfect opportunity for revenge for South Carolina. You can get your 7th win of the season. Then you got Wofford. That's going to be a win. Guys, you might be looking at a 9-3 season if you can take down Clemson at Clemson. And I don't think South Carolina is going to get in the playoff with three losses. I just don't. Realistically, I don't. But, guys, all that aside, what a hell of a job by Shane Beamer and company. What a year 4 and the type of year that they needed for Shane Beamer to get this program again on that positive trajectory everybody there wants it to be. At number 3, guys, I've got the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee took care of the business over the weekend against Mississippi State. Need to check on the status of Nico Iamaleava. I've been told he's going to be fine for the Georgia game. It was precautionary. He got pulled out. I thought he was really good in that game with the deep ball. Hit a couple deep shots. Dylan Sampson continues to be the way they're riding Dylan Sampson until the wheels fall off. I mean, 30 more carries for Dylan Sampson. The defense is relentless. You hold a Jeff Levy offense to less than 100 yards passing, you had one hell of a night. So now Tennessee goes into Athens, a place that has been so difficult for them to find success and find. I think the last time Tennessee won there, guys, I think it was 2016. And I think the last time they won there at night was either 2006 or 2004, like the mid-2000s. So it's been a tough place to play. We all know how good Georgia's been. Tennessee, though, my goodness. I mean, you talk about an opportunity. Guys, Tennessee has nothing to lose. That's got to give you a lot of confidence, especially when you think about Tennessee's front 7, comparable to Ole Miss's front 7. We just saw what happened. Nico comes back full strength. Josh Heupel gets in his bag. Some of these receivers that are starting to play better, they continue to come along. You got Dylan Sampson. Tell me why Tennessee can't win that football game. I'll wait because you can't, because they absolutely can go in there and beat Georgia. Will they? We'll see, but huge opportunity for the Vols. At number 2, I got the Ole Miss Rebels, guys. I vaulted Ole Miss up to number 2. I think one of the biggest reasons I vaulted Ole Miss up to, guys, is because I think we a little bit kind of overhyped the demise of Ole Miss, and that like maybe they're not a good team. The Kentucky loss is that'll be one of the most inexcusable losses of the 2024 SEC football season. There's no question. But they've only trailed for like 2 minutes all year, guys. All year. They've only trailed for 2 minutes. They win in the Death Valley at night at LSU. Again, a place to play that's really tough for everybody to play except Alabama. Win into there. I don't think that's a loss you hang your head over. Like, you led the entire game until you didn't. LSU beat you, whatever. This Ole Miss team, what they showed on Saturday night, they got over the hump. Lane Kiffin won that big game. Guys, we asked the question, do they do enough in the portal to win a game like this against a team like Georgia? Well, defensively, the answer is hell yes, because they dominated the Georgia front. I mean, they whipped them all night long. Watching that was a sight to behold. I think you got to talk about Ole Miss as one of the best teams in this conference. Certainly one of the most talented, and now Lane Kiffin has his signature win. They go on the road to Florida this weekend. Or excuse me, that's LSU. Ole Miss has got the bye week, if I recall correctly. I'm sitting here thinking about the schedule. Yeah, Ole Miss is on the bye. Yes. Excuse me. Then they've got to take on the Florida Gators in the Swamp. So you got the bye. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better week to go into a bye. Feeling really good. Congratulations to Lane Kiffin and company. And by the way, thank you to all those in Oxford. This past weekend was an absolute treat. Getting to rush the field. I'm getting a little too used to that at this point. It's kind of crazy. But either way, Ole Miss, huge win. Thoroughly impressed. One of the best teams in the conference, man. I don't think you can let that inexcusable loss to Kentucky really early in the year make you lose sight of the fact they are one of the best in the SEC. And at number 1, the Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em. I tell you guys, I talked about it. Hey, there's Texas. They need the bye week. This is going to get them in a really good spot. Boy, they came out guns a-blazing. Quinn Ewers with 5 touchdown passes. They looked incredible in this football game. All phases of the game just thoroughly dominated the Florida Gators. watch out for Texas. I think Texas is about to heat up. I think Texas is about to go on a run, building momentum to the A&M game at Kyle Field. But guys, Texas, I thought, made a statement against Florida. I know it's Florida, but the way they did it, really impressive. So Texas, number one for me in my power rankings entering Week 12. So guys, what do you think? Do you agree with my rankings? Do you disagree? How would you power rank the teams of the SEC entering Week 12 of the 2024 college football season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in again. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where we get those. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.